try. Don't overplan, don't overthink. You might not have the money, you might not have the cosigns, you might not have nothing. You have to see the finish line to something before you put it out there. Your vision is your validation. Your vision is your validation. So you literally have to have the beginning and the ending. What happens in between has nothing to do with you. You don't need $1 million to start $1 million company.
Peace, and welcome to the Art4Artists podcast, where we explore the experience of artists one artist at a time. My name is Dios, and today it is truly an honor to have a Harlem legend, a Renaissance man of sorts. He has created events for dancers to dance and do their thing. He is a dot connector, making sure that dancers find their way in the industry. He also is someone that does music representation, artist development, whatever you want to call it. But again, behind the scenes, connecting them dots. He's also an artist himself. So many things. Matter of fact, past that, before I even jump to the next thing, he is also someone that will motivate you. You go on his gram, you scroll through, he will motivate you not only through weight loss, but through life journeys and making sure that you are going down the path for your best self. This is Shalimar, the Renegotiator Davis, a true pleasure to have on my podcast and a Harlem neighbor. Shalimar,
what's up,
Renegotiator
Thank
Davis.
you, peace. Thank you for having me.
Peace. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good. I can't complain.
Happy to hear it. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to put the 30-minute timer up for full disclosure, because my last episode was crazy. Tell us a little bit about your background and how did you get into art?
Okay, well, like you said, I'm a Harlem-born native, but I like to tell people I'm HBO. I'm Harlem and Bronx only.
Wow.
Reason with that being said, I was born here and was raised here, but I left here when I was around 15 because of family issues. My mother got really sick, so I had to live with my grandmother for a nice chunk of period of time. So I was always back and forth between Harlem and the Bronx. But as an adult, as soon as I got my own money, I moved right back to Harlem. Right. Harlem is my home. It's where I lived at my whole life, Harlem and the Bronx, but mainly Harlem. Yep. How did I get started? Well, my family is heavy rooted into the performing arts. My uncle was a professional ballet dancer in Juilliard. He was also in The Wiz, where the movie with Michael Jackson, Diana Ross. He was one of the dancers in that. So I grew up watching him perform at like all of our family gatherings. Yeah, he would he had a grand piano, and he lived in this apartment in Harlem on the west side, and it was like a really big apartment complex back in the 80s. So every family gathering, we would come and all the kids would sit down and he would play the piano, Nina Simone, get really drunk. He'll start dancing around, and it was like this thing, yeah. And what happened was he would create these moments, so in the middle of Thanksgiving, every time we had a family gathering, it would be like a showtime. And then all the kids will be in the back of the room where all the kids will be in. Yeah. And we'll be like so excited about coming out to perform in front of our family. So we'll be making up dances and stuff because we just want to perform. So back then, I remember early on, we'll be like in my grandmother's closet, we're gonna do Michael Jackson. We're looking for things to kind of imitate. Facts. Yeah, but in our world, it was so exciting to perform in front of our auntie. They'd throw money at us, and we would just be so happy. So it started that way, and then both neighborhoods, when here in Harlem, every block had their day. So it'd be like 139th Street had their day, 140th. So you would practice all summer for this one moment. It's 2 months of rehearsing in the park, but it's 5 minutes of glory in the block party. But the same thing when I would go to my grandmother's block in the Bronx, it was 2 months of rehearsal. So one thing I would say, shout out to block parties. I don't know if a lot of the new generation know about that, but block parties kept kids back then inserted into culture. It was about what you wore there. You rehearsed. If you was a performer, you got to rock the mic or you got to dance, whatever you did. But it was just one day where everybody from the neighborhoods would get together. Right. old ladies would sell plates of food, and it was all the cultures coming together in the neighborhood was one. So that's roughly how I got started. And then my dad, who was also he grew up in the church, but he was a very big vocalist, and he's a big vocal coach still to this day. But he was also discovering, he was putting together a girl group, and my godfather brought him this girl and was like, yo, this girl can really sing, but they were in a group. And he discovered, and that girl was Alicia Keys. So at the age, this is in the PAL on 119th in Manhattan.
Name drop. Continue. Yes. Legendary.
The PAL on 119th in Manhattan Avenue is where he would do his lessons, and then they came as a girl group, and he liked them, thought they was cute, but it was something special about this one girl. So my involvement at the time was really nothing. It was just, I know he was working with this girl group.
Right.
While my uncle was an executive at MCA, Uptown Records, where Mary J. Blige and them had it. So if my father found something, he always bring it to my uncle, like, yo, Jeff, sign this, sign that. And they had their production come together. So here and there, I'll just be like around, like, oh, okay, Uncle Jeff's working with Mary, and that's cool. But this girl was the first, because she was around my age.
Right.
So they did a lot of the early stuff where it would be like, first of all, he said, okay, let's make her solo artist, but she had to go through development, which would be development. So it was like, where's the hottest parties for kids and stuff like that. So it would be our crew taking her to certain things around Harlem and the Bronx, skate key, different things, just to like get the, the swag up.
Right.
And so we did that. And then, so she had got signed, and that's kind of like how I just naturally just morphed into this artist thing. I really didn't have a chance. As soon as I was born, it was like, with living in Harlem, you get all the culture and all the fashion, and you're inserted into that. But what I would say, when I was in the Bronx, it was right into hip hop. It was like, because that's where hip hop started. It was a difference. Here I wanted to be fly, I wanted to be flashy. But when I went to the Bronx, it was like, okay, you really gotta, grind it out up here. It's a different feeling cross. The bridge is right there, but once you cross the bridge, you can feel it was like hustle. It's a different. So I never shit on the Bronx, because people go, oh, the Bronx. I'm like, no, it's a different, like Harlem. So I'm the best of both worlds, because I understand I'm bougie and I'm ghetto. That's what I'm saying. My bougie is Harlem, my ghetto is the Bronx. And I just love being from uptown. So I'm a uptown like legend. I don't know nothing about Brooklyn. I mean, shout out to them, but I don't know nothing about them other boroughs. But this is mine, and I appreciate it. But that's how I kind of just fell into it.
It's crazy to like. First of all, like, it's funny because whatever I could have assumed about you, it's like it's deeper than that. Like no matter how artistic I could have assumed your family was, because you touch on it here and there, and full disclosure, is one of the most humble people, because with a story like that, you might expect somebody to put it in your face, but nah, this is real low key with what it could have been, right? But like the grandfather being a ballet dancer is where, like, yes, I could, like, the vocal coach is still humbling, like dad being a vocal coach is still humbling, but like the ballet dancer idea, black male ballet dancer, and successful, being on the Wiz and being a part of history, like, do you feel that influenced your love for dance? Like, yes, with the performance, but was his example something that you felt was specific to you, or did ballet ever feel like something that you were like, eh?
Well, yeah, because having my uncle being openly black and gay at that time, he was my first example of, like, he never carried himself in a certain way, the way that I seen gay black men portrayed.
Right.
He was always the life of the party. So I started with that, saying, when Uncle Calvin came through, you knew he was gonna make you laugh. You knew it was a good time. Like, you knew, like, okay, Uncle Calvin's about to start, and all the kids just loved him. Seeing him dance, I would never forget. He did some, like, pirouette thing in front of me, and I was sitting on the floor. I remember like being Indian style, and I couldn't. I was just shocked that his feet did something
Yeah.
in the air, and I was like, how in the hell he did that?
Right.
And so yeah, he definitely influenced me. It was just like, wow, like, and the fact that he also taught me that, like, no matter, even though he's on a big stage, but he made art out of small spaces as a living room. So like, it like putting us in the back room and come up with your ideas. So we was in Broadway. Like, I didn't even like, we was already on stage because we value the opportunity to perform.
Right.
So it was like, oh, I didn't see them as my aunt and uncles no more. It was, I get to perform. I get to get up there and do what he just did, and we can now go in a room and figure out. It's like a puzzle. Like, okay, how can we make them clap for us? How can we add a little comedy to it? How can we mimic what we think in our head? So I'm thankful for him for that moment right then. The wisdom stuff, that was all good, but it was about the opportunity to present.
That's
And
I love that. I love that answer. I love how you saw it. I think I said grandfather first, and
yeah, it's all right. Well,
it's okay. Uncle.
It's okay. Yeah.
So, what struggles did you find along your journey that may have kept you from making art?
Well, there's a few. Back in my day, that I'm saying like it's a long time ago, but I was naturally a bigger kid. When you was a bigger kid, you didn't get picked for the middle spot. You didn't. They thought you couldn't dance. When you were bigger, you didn't get you. Oh, you don't look quite like the artist. So if there was a part to play Michael Jackson, I'm not getting picked.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. I'd never identified sexuality until I became older, but because I was a kid with a softer voice, you always got teased like, "Are you gay?" Da, 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 da. Or back in those days, when you were male dancing, you were gay because a lot of guys were scared to dance or they didn't dance back in the 80s. Right. I was one, I didn't give a damn. This is what I'm doing. So some people say I kind of like helped pioneer it within the street culture of dance uptown, because I was one, put the big boy in the middle, let him dance, and I'll be like, oh well, and then other boys would think it was okay and would join. But now today you see little kids dancing early on. It's not a thing no more. But back then, boys didn't dance. You just didn't do it. It was taboo. If you saw one, you gave them it was treading a thin line. So there's a lot of opportunities I didn't get provided with. And then when I started rapping, it was always a fight because I was just a unique, different thing. So everything that I had to get, I literally had to fight. You would think, coming from such an artistic background, that it would be just given to me. No, it wasn't. Right. It was, even trying to rap, I would just be constantly in my room writing, and waiting for the opportunity to present. I had a lot of guys in my hallway who used to rap, and I used to hear them rapping. Back then they would be drinking in 40s and stuff, and every Friday they would be playing these records, and I would hear like Nas and Biggie and them, because through them, they're older than me, and they would all do their freestyles. And I remember I used to be sitting there like listening, but I would be like, I remember going upstairs one time and be like, I'm gonna write the hottest rap. And when they asked me,
you gonna be ready?
I was like, oh, I can't wait. Because I know they would be like, like, oh, Shalimar, a little dancing, little like, dancing kid, little fat. What he gonna do? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna show them.
Right.
And that's the Uncle Calvin in me. It was like he put that like fighter, that like, go in that room, like he told me, work on it, come out, lose it on him. So that's what I go in that room. So I didn't see it as a challenge. If you tell me I can't do something, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in that room and I'm coming back, and I'm like, so that's how I saw it. But I everything I got, I've never gotten nothing handed to me. I had to fight for everything, and I'm not mad at it. It hurts a little bit because it's like you see other people get on, but my road is different. You know, that's what I've learned to accept. My road is absolutely different.
Right.
I gotta fight for what I want. I gotta work very hard. I'm just, if I want it, I gotta do it. So that's it.
I love that. Uh, I love the fact that your journey was exactly as it was. Like, I feel like part of my time in my life, I just been like slowly getting more acquainted to the idea that nothing comes hard. I mean, nothing, excuse me, nothing comes easy. And when you start realizing that and realizing that that builds you a more, what's the word, durable skin.
Yes.
Like, you continue to become better because of the fact that you didn't get it easy. And at the end of the day, you relied more on that connection to the room than you do that connection to like what people tell you. Oh yeah, you're good. You're not waiting for that. You're waiting for like, no, I got my chance in that room to get myself as good as I want to be. And then when they don't even have a chance because I've already got myself where I need to be. You know. So I love that. I love that very, very much. What is your most prized creation and why?
This sounds very crazy, but I would say myself. Because I would usually say, "Oh, is this project that project?" Is myself because um, I've I was created, but I've created a mental ethic, and it's been developing for a long time, and I'm still developing it. But I would say I'm here, but I've worked hard on it because to deal with this artist life, you have to have the mental endurance. You have to have the bandwidth. You have to have the armor. You have to have it. Like it's something. A lot of people they'll put their energy into a project. What happens if that project goes bad? It goes back to you. A lot of people put their energy into the way they look. What happens if something goes left and you start to deteriorate? I know a girl's really pretty and she got cut in the face. You're no longer pretty to what the world thinks is pretty. In a car accident, I have a friend who lost a limb. It all goes back to you. And if you want to continue that journey on to what you had set out for yourself before something happens, you got to have the mental capacity. You have to have something within you. So your ethic, it's about your ethic. That's all I'm gonna say. My ethic is my most prized. As long as I keep a good ethic and a good mental space, and I know that it's coming from in here and from up above, then I think I have exactly what it takes to still stand here and get to any goal that's set out. It's no longer about the goal. It's about being equipped to get to anything that I want to do. Like that's it. I could look at I want to build great adventures. It's gonna happen if I zero in. Like so that's my best creation right now is creating a world and a space that works for me.
I feel like that's a unique answer because beyond this podcast, like all of the people that I feel like I ask these kind of questions in regular life, like to people I pose ridiculously existential questions in conversation. And like rarely do we see ourselves as our own creation, and I think especially with how you just answered that, like it is the behaviors, it is the ethic that you build within yourself to create this new version of yourself that is able to attain all that you desire. That felt like you just gave me like an OG lesson. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like I'm gonna take that and put that in my pocket. What do you see for you and your art if you could paint your future?
If I can paint my future as I'm painting my future, I see peace. I see me helping reroute and redirect a lot of young artists. I see a lot of seminars, I see a lot of conversations, I see performances, but I see it being a lesson of it's a takeaway for young people or just people not even young, but anybody who feels like they're in a cage or they're like being stifled. I feel like my future would be on a path to touch specifically a certain crop of people that's underserved, underlooked, who have these crazy stories. I see my future also touching people who are that just been at a disadvantage, and I also see my future just shedding so much light on in a shedding so much light in a world that's so dark. I think we're in some really really dark times, but I think some of us are learning how to. We're just navigating through it. Like it's you get a good get some good news today. Here comes something that's gonna shake your faith, or and it's about my what I want to do. Well, what I'm doing is I'm slowly but surely planting seeds to go on this different type of path. I just want to do things differently.
Right.
Whatever that means. Like I'm just gonna go do it. But it's really to just spread this great message of it's about you. You are the co-creator with the creator. We are.
Right.
Get out of his way and let him get you on your way. And that's exactly what I'm like. This is what we're doing. That's my future right there.
I love the get out of his way so he can put you on your way, because I feel like once you organize yourself, especially as an artist, like I feel like once you organize yourself and have a relationship with a higher power, because at the end of the day, like all of these things that like whether you're a rapper or you're a singer or you're a beat maker or whatever, all of these things seem to come from nowhere at some point. Like they come from this, ridiculous otherworldly place, and then when you have that connection to a higher power, I feel like you are connecting to where it all comes from. Where all these gifts come from, whether it is singing, whether it is a freestyle that you never thought you could do, never thought you could organize your words that well or that fast. Like all of this comes from that connection. And I think one thing I'm reading about in a book by Rick Rubin is like solidifying that connection, and with craft, it's a difference between inspiration and craft. Like some days you're going to be inspired, so you're going to have all the juice to be able to just go do it, and then there's other days that you just got to sit down and do it because you're crafting. It's like, okay, yes, I may not be fully inspired, but if I just sit here long enough, I may be able to figure out something that does inspire me.
Exactly.
But either way, opening that pathway between you and the higher space and making it a regular thing is something that I feel is so important for artists, but we sometimes look over because we want to always feel inspired.
What's to interject just to go, and it's weird because some creators, it's easy to get a sense of pride where it's like you get I and it's like I feel like that's so disrespectful to say I, because you learn a skill and now you're mastering it. You're like you have nothing to do with it.
Right.
You literally have nothing to do with it. You can wake up today as a singer and not know how you won't be able to talk. You can wake up today and go deaf. You don't hear the beats. That's it. Someone has to turn on your ear every day so you can hear. But we're not thinking about that as a creator. We need our limbs to dance. We need our hands to write. One thing messes up, right? This one finger gets snubbed. You can't write. Now you have to figure out a new way to write. Right? You get what I'm trying to say?
Facts.
It's all connected. So I try to remove the I. I literally just like, I no longer have no control over what's happening. And I really mean that. And I want every creator to know that. Like, stop getting cocky. Like, stop it. I've done things, as you know, I had one of the biggest shows, and then everything could go left. Okay, that's from a lot of I.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna take that away from you. Sit down for a few years. What are you going to do? You always go back to the source because it's humbling source. So and I just want to say that because I know how a lot of people, I know ball players, I know a bunch of people, and they get real like, yeah, it's about me, and we see it every day on television when an artist is doing well, and they go I, and then they all have that period where it's like, okay, you're not hot no more. And now here comes either they become bitter about it or they become better. So remove the I from the top. If you just get rid of that, then I think everybody will be in a better space, because this is not, this is just a temporary thing.
Right.
To feel like, you know, oh, I'm fly, and if you get a good body, you want to take a picture. Look at me, I'm looking good today. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It's just a co-creation. Like I said,
right.
So be happy about, I think we should be happy about our accomplishments and about the things that we are able to do. But just understand in the back of your mind, like, you had some help all the way.
Right.
That's it.
Regardless, this is always alone.
So yeah,
whatever you got going on,
like, stop it. Don't get too, take some of the edge off of it.
I respect it. I like that one. Well, this is not the final one, but if you had one chance to motivate the next creator to get up and start their journey, what would you tell them?
Try. Don't overplan. Don't overthink. Literally start. Like, starting, you might not have the money. You might not have the cosigns. You might not have nothing. I've started a lot of things where my best things that I ever started, some of my biggest projects or whatever I started, it was all off of this fire in my spirit. And I connected with other people with fire, and we just lit the town red, because we had fire, and we didn't have no money. We put our resources together. We stood up. Part of my mods, who, I remember the dollhouse. We started it based off of, we were upset about a no, because we started another project and someone told us no. Me literally was on Lenox Avenue and 135th Street to about 2 in the morning, excited about this idea about, we're gonna bring Vegas to New York. So I'm saying that all to say is we were up on fire. When I write a record, I'm on fire. I don't care about, I don't know what studio I'm recording. This record's getting done. I already hear the record before. I know everything before it happens. So I'm saying to the new generation is, please stop over planning, stop overthinking, stop looking for a cosign. It's something that has to happen within you already. It has to already be done. You have to see the finish line to something before you put it out there, because your vision is your validation. Your vision is your validation. So you literally have to have the beginning and the ending. What happens in between has nothing to do with you. But if you know how it started and you can see the end, there you go.
Right.
Now allow co-creator, yourself, your trials, tribulation, your doubt. That's going to happen in between. But every day is the vision. The vision. Get to the vision. So I'm gonna just say, try. You don't need $1 million to start $1 million company. You don't. You don't need anything. You just need drive and the ability to listen, and the details. The details will change. So you might hear something and you might this is how we're gonna do it. But along the way, the details change. So you can't get upset like, Dad, we said we're gonna do it like this, and da 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 da. You gotta be willing to say, well, it didn't happen that way, but I still got there. So as long as you still get there, that's good.
Wow. I have I wish I had like the most fire rebuttal and or not even a rebuttal, but something to give. But that was just so clean. Like, that's just such it was such a perfect answer. And I feel like these are the clips. These are the things that I'm gonna cut up into reels. That's exactly. We're about to get some views. Anyway, okay. So with our last little bit of time, I want to dive into two things that really quick. The first thing is literally just your tags of everywhere that they can reach you.
Okay.
Whether it is Instagram or whatever, what have you, and then with the last minute after that, literally just explain to them what renegotiate means to you and your brand, and that'll close us out.
Okay. Okay. My name first, right?
Yeah, your tags and where they
Okay,
can find
you can find me. My name is Shalimar Renegotiator Davis, but I go by the Renegotiator. You can find me. Look at the hat, RENEGOTI8 at Renegotiate. That is my page, motivational page. A personal page, I'll give it to you because we're being personal. Um, at Renegotiate and then add a TOR. So Renegotiator. All right. My tags: renegotiate your project, renegotiate. That's it. Those are the main two. Yeah, you can find me on all social media: TikTok, Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Same tags. Renegotiate your contract. Same at renegotiate your contract. This whole spill. What it means to me is I view life as a contract. So therefore, every day we are creating new terms, new deals. We're building our contract. We are born into this world with a contract. Our parents do a real good job at building our contract. You're born into a world with, you might be born Christian, your mother might like meatloaf, so you eat meatloaf. You can't choose where you were born at. You have to live in a house that they provide for you. But when we become older, we get to renegotiate that. We get to say, okay, Ma, I know you used to cook pig feet, but now I'm a vegan.
Right.
Okay, Ma, I know you told me that, we don't have sex before we get married, but I might want to try it differently. It doesn't make your life wrong before. It's just now you get to take the good stuff that you learned from the good contract, and you get to take some of that stuff and make your own. And that's what I want to. That's my mission to people. It's like, and it's okay to renegotiate at any given time. So every 5 years, I'm renegotiating my life because it looks differently according to what the climate is and the scene. So yeah, that's what the brand is about. That's what I mostly speak about. Build your contracts. Come to me. I'll help you. Let's go.
Yes, sir. And that is that. Art4Artists. We're out, and thank you for watching. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you.